Welcome to the Central Florida Computer Society and the Sarasota Technology User Group Windows SIG, or WinSIG, as I call it, for Sunday, July 13th, 2025. We've been doing this for 25, 30 years now. We're doing it the second Sunday of every month, and you're welcome to join us. And also, a good many of the videos that we have done of the WinSIG are posted on the CFCS YouTube channel. So with that, I'm Hewie Poplock, and let me stop the share and say welcome to everybody. I'm glad you're here. I see some familiar faces that I haven't seen in a while. Cheryl, welcome back. And I see many familiar faces, and I didn't see anybody new sign up. And I did see somebody that tried to sign in again, and they did it twice and they're still not here. So who knows? Anyway, you don't have to, if you're signed up for this, we've been using the same link to get in, and it's individual for each of you. But we've been using the same link now for years. So if you've got the link, if I forget to send it out or you can't find it, just make sure you save it somewhere and you can use it next month. Unless something happens and then I have to change, and I will let everybody know that we have to change it for everybody. Anyway, this is the Windows Special Interest Group. We talk about Windows. We talk about computer items in general. And what I do is, let me share my screen once again. And share, and I can minimize this, and you see my nice, clean, fairly clean screen because it's basically a new computer. And what I'm going to do is I am going to open up this, and I am going to go to Hewie.net, and this is where I go to get the WinSIG. And here are the items for today that we're going to cover. Now, if you'll notice, as you scroll down, it has a list of archives. What happens is the software that I use to create this website will only allow me 6 months on a page. So if you want to see last month's or the last couple of months, you have to click to go to January to June 2025. If you click that, you'll see there's June and there's May. And you'll see not only is a list of what we cover, but also a link to the video on YouTube. So, and then to get back to the beginning, just go back to the WinSIG and it'll bring you back here. And these are the items we're going to cover today. I use the Windows or Microsoft Edge because I can enlarge it and make it easier for us to read, much easier than I can with Chrome. So let's take the first item today, which is Microsoft extends free Windows 10 security updates into 2026 with strings attached. So when we click on that, we go to the article, and then I'm going to press thanks to Dick, F9, and it takes me into the article. As we scroll down into the article, it says, last fall, Microsoft announced that individuals who wanted to keep using Windows 10 past its official end of support date could do so by opting into the company's extended security update, or ESU program, at a cost of $30 per PC. That's a one-time charge. That's not $30 a month. That's for the year. It would cost $30. And it would get a user a single year of additional security updates to Windows 10. Today, less than 4 months before the October 14th cutoff, Microsoft announced some additional options. So the first option is individuals who want to pay $30 for the additional year of updates will still be able to do so. But let's see. Bring it to here. But Microsoft will also extend a year of additional Windows 10 security updates to any users who opt into Windows Backup, a relatively recent Windows 10 and 11 app that backs up settings and files using a Microsoft account. So if you do that, that will give you the ability, without paying the $30, to continue to use Windows 10. A third way is users can also opt into ESU updates by spending 1,000 Microsoft reward points, which are handed out for everything from making purchases with your Microsoft account to doing Bing searches. So one way to tell is if you're in Microsoft Edge, click on your picture or the letter that's up here, and you will see here under my wallet, Microsoft Rewards, I've got 4,625 points. So some of you may have a lot more, some may have less. Depends on whether you use Edge or not, and whether you do some other things with the Microsoft account. But I could take 1,000 of those points if I had Windows 10, which I don't, and I would be able to update for free by just using those 1,000 points. And then the article continues on. So it's pretty much talks about that. I have shared that file with many people because they've been asking, how do you do it? But that one paragraph lists the 3 things that you can do. Any comments or questions? I know some of you are still on 10. You're debating whether you want to buy a new computer now, you want to wait because you can't update your computer to Windows 11. Any comments? None? Don't forget you're muted. Okay, I guess you're all happy. Is there anyone that's not going to update to Windows 11? I see Chris raised just one like this. Anybody else? Stephen, comment.
Yeah, I'm not going to update. I do have a Windows 11 computer, but I'm not going to update my Windows 10 computer. I'm going to consider the $30 offer. Sounded pretty reasonable. And I'm going to check and find out what kind of experience people are having that are staying on Windows 10 on one or more of their computers and see what happens. Of course,
yeah, check and see if you have any rewards points. You might be able to save the $30.
Yeah, I need to check on that. So thanks for mentioning that.
Okay.
So I checked on that. I've got 14. I checked on, I checked on that. Why is my speaker off?
We're hearing you.
Oh, good. And I happen to have 14,000 points. I have no idea how I got it since I use Firefox predominantly, not Bing. But it seems silly to do an upgrade while computers are changing with all of this AI computing capability coming in the future. So I'm going to stick with my Windows 10 computer.
Yeah, you got the points. Why not? Tom, your hand is up.
Yes, I'm going to keep Windows 10 on 2 machines that are running a video edit software that I use regularly. I had to buy a newer version of the video edit software for my Windows 11 computers, and the newer version of the video edit software has a number of the most important functionalities removed from it. So that's why I'm going to continue to use the older version, and I'm going to use it as long as I can. I do have Windows 11 computers, and I'll use those, but for those things where I have to have that older version to do it, I'm going to use the older version.
Good point. Mike?
As most people who know me know, I've been playing with Linux for many years, and I just decided to make Linux my primary operating system on all the computers in the house except for one. And that one used to be the Windows 10 that was running my Steam games with a very powerful Core i7 with a Radeon GPU card and I was getting tired of it taking up so much space, so I replaced it with the B-Link Mini. And the B-Link Mini came with Windows 11, runs just fine and runs the games just fine. And I donated that great big piece of iron to a charitable computer restorer. Everything else is Linux, and Drew and I will probably talk a little bit about that in the Central Florida Computer Society section when the WinSIG's over.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, let's go back to our topics here. And go ahead and close this and go to the next article. Windows is getting ready, rid of the blue screen. And boy, did I know that blue screen. Well, before my computer got fixed in the last couple of weeks, I was getting these on a regular basis. Some days several times, some days not at all. And we just didn't know what it was. I'm going to talk about that in the CFCS section of the meeting. So it's after this meeting, which will be about starting around 3 o'clock. But anyway, they're going to do away with the blue screen, and they're going to call it a black screen. Mike said he saw an article about a gray screen. Well, I'm not sure why it was gray, but according to all the articles I'm reading, it's going to look like this. Which, you know, to be honest with you, I like the blue screen better. But what I was having to do was grab my phone and take a picture of that screen, because you can't do a screen capture when you're in this state. And because sometimes the information down here can be beneficial to somebody that's helping you. So although it didn't make much difference for mine, I ended up having to ship it back to them anyway. But so you're going to have a black screen. So the nice thing, probably why they're calling it a black screen, Mike, instead of a gray screen, is because they can just call it a BSOD with the blue screen or a black screen. So
hard to say. I don't know if he was getting that error or if it just happened and it wasn't, Microsoft hadn't prepared for it.
Yeah. And thanks to Ron, these next two articles, I didn't know anything about this. He sent it to me yesterday. I just added it to the list. Of you looked through the list in the last few days and didn't see these, they're there now. It's Microsoft finally makes PC migration a lot easier for Windows 11's patch. Let me hit the F9 key so you can see it nice and larger. So Windows 11 patch Tuesday, remember I mentioned that it's usually on a Tuesday, brings a new PC migration feature to the 2553 update, and I do have that installed. Hidden highlights include better default apps in Europe and taskbar icon resizing. And updates for Windows 10 mainly focus on fixes like the jump list disappearance. So if you had a jump list, you no longer have that. It's usually the second Tuesday of the month. Microsoft calls what it has as Patch Tuesday. It's a big round of updates for all of the Microsoft's currently supported operating systems, and they can vary widely in their contents. Sometimes you just get a wave of security tweaks, and sometimes you get a whole new features to try out. If you're on Windows 11, this Patch Tuesday has a ton of nice features ready for you to try out. And according to this author, the PC migration feature, which we've seen crop up in the beta builds, finally are making it to the grand debut of in the release version. And so it is 2553, and I did check, and I do have it installed. On the Windows 11 July 8th patch, Microsoft details what arrived with this update. And let's see. Security update includes improvements that were part of the update. Clicking the link, which is right here, leads you to the real treasure trove for the update. And then some things about people in Europe and so on. However, my personal favorite addition is this one, PC migration. The PC migration experience in Windows is starting to roll out. You'll begin to see the landing and the pairing page. I had to look around my camera. My camera is right there. In the Windows Backup app, giving you a first look at what's coming. In the full experience, you'll be able to transfer files and settings from an old PC to a new one during setup. Support for this feature during PC setup will arrive in a future update. The rollout is being introduced in phases to support a smooth experience. And remember, these notes are from a beta version, so hopefully Microsoft has added more features since then. So improvements, this is in the security update and so on. They fixed some issues, multimedia, they fixed something, and the Windows firewall, they fixed something. And then there's some AI components and so on. So you can take a look at this article, and it does show you the KB number for, and KB is the knowledge base number for patches and updates. And so this 2553, is there a link to that here? And I can't remember if there was or not. Apparently not, but that's one thing that you can take a look at. And then let's see here. Yeah, here it is right here. Here's that patch. Let's see, an article about that patch. So again, let me do F9. And the Windows, and I just used the last four numbers, 2552. For 23H2 is rolling out today with PC to PC transfer. So 23 and 24 apparently have been updated, and you'll be able to use this. Either that or they made a mistake in this article and it's supposed to just be 24. I am not sure. And if you cannot install the update via settings, Microsoft has another solution called Direct Installer File, or an MSU. You download the link. So what's new in this version? PC to PC migration. This is what we're talking about in this article. This feature uses Windows Backup to facilitate a connection between two Windows 11 PCs. If you have a new PC and want to migrate your data and files, this feature can help. If you need to do, if all you need to do is pair the two devices, which must be on the same wireless network, and let the file transfer begin. And this is basically what it looks like. And it does give you you get a code so you can pair them. And then this transfer is supposed to happen while setting up new PC. So your old PC will create pairing requests, and then and there's some more options for it as well. Now, when I did my reinstall last week, one of the things it did do is it went out and found this backup, which I didn't even know I had out there. And it brought everything in. So all of my settings were there, all of my passwords that were in were there, all of my links and not shortcuts, but all of my bookmarks and everything came over, and it was all automatically installed. It just made it so much easier, and I didn't even know I had that ability. So it saved me hours and hours. Now, I had to reinstall programs, but a lot of the information that I needed was there. And let's go, let's see, that's that article. And then this one kind of fits into the same thing. Windows 11 tests PC to PC wireless file transfer, similar to a Windows 7 tool. Windows 7 or Windows 11 has a built-in backup app that works over OneDrive and allows you to quickly restore anything from the cloud. And it works even when you're setting up a new PC. But Microsoft wants to make it even better, so it's testing a new transfer files to a PC option, which is sort of a wireless file sharing mechanism between two PCs. So if that's something you're interested in, this is a good article about it. And it says, what would you like to do? Back up this PC or transfer files to a new PC? And the second option is what we're interested in. We think that it'll be very similar to Windows 7's easy file transfer feature, which is what this is, I believe. And again, it'll give you a code. So people can't just do it. You'll be able to transfer more than just files between the two PCs. For example, Microsoft noted that the feature lets you transfer files, apps, settings, and credentials over a network connection to speed up PC setup. And it does appear you can use the tool to transfer files to an existing PC as well when setting up a new device. And so, and if you've got more than two PCs, there's a toggle switch between the PCs on the same Wi-Fi. You just send the click change and choose the correct hardware. And so that's the rest of the article. So let's stop the share and see if we got some discussion. Comments, questions? Just some new ways in which to make it easier when you update to a Windows 11 machine from your Windows 10, although the article said Windows 11 to Windows 11. So I'm not sure if this is going to help you from Windows 10 to Windows 11.
I think it's like the old utilities that would let you move one computer to another, cold iron without having to install everything.
What?
I didn't notice whether it was going to do that by Microsoft account to Microsoft account over the internet, or whether you were actually going to connect a cable between the two.
It sounded like there's going to be ways to do either, but you may not be able to do everything with either one. Any other comments?
I'm going to take an educated guess and say that it's Windows 11 to 11 only.
Yeah, I think that's what it did say. So it'll be interesting, but it's getting better and better and easier to update either a computer or update two computers from one to the other. So at least they're trying. Sometimes very trying. Let's go back to share. Okay, so we close this and we're down to these hidden Windows tricks instantly close any frozen app. If you've ever gotten a frozen app and you can't get out of it, what can you do? Well, there are some things here. And boy, they got some pictures. Here we go. All right, third, it goes down. So it starts third. Use the end task option. Sometimes there'll be a pop-up. You'll probably already use the taskbar to close apps, but here's a handy tip you might not know. You can also use it to force quit apps that stop responding. All you have to do is right-click on the app's icon. So if you come down here to one of the icons, let's say I'm running Notepad here. If I right-click on it, one of the things in here, it says close window, but if it was locked, it would say end task would be one of the choices. And
I know where you can go in. I know where you go in settings.
Okay, this is number 3. Number 2 is use the task manager. And how you do that is you right click down on your taskbar is one of the ways you can get the task manager. There are several. And let's say Irfan view, one thing you see, it keeps changing because it's based on one of these columns. So whatever column you want it to stop at, and I'm going to say name, that puts it in alphabetical order with apps and then background. But let's say I want to stop Irfan view, I would right mouse click here and tell it to end task. So if I couldn't get to it any other way. So that's one. And then, or two. And then the first one is use Super F2, which I'm not familiar with, but let's see what it says. Most of the time, needing to close an app shouldn't get beyond the above two methods. But if you're, excuse me, if you're constantly dealing with stubborn apps that refuse to close, or you want something quicker and more aggressive than Task Manager, then you can try a third-party tool like Super F4. It only does one thing: force close apps instantly, and it does it really well. So there's an app that you can download, and they give you a link. And if you want to do multiple, you can, I guess, as well. Here's where you download it right here, and it's free. Okay, now, Drew, what was your comment?
I was going to say, if you scroll up a little bit in that article, it covers the instructions right there where it says for developers. This tells you how to enable that first option about the right clicking to get the end task. If you need to go into settings and then system and then for developers, and you can enable the end task feature so that when you right click on the icon, you'll have the end task option.
Okay.
You
So
just
you
need
go
to
to-
follow those instructions right there.
Yeah, right here. Okay. So for those of you who like to play with these things, it might be something else, but you can, again, these articles are all listed on Hewie.net under WinSIG. You can go to that article and then get the information if you don't remember exactly what to do, but you remember it did say it in the article. Comments? Anybody? You're all so quiet today. Okay, let's go back. And this, it's not me, it's Brian Burgess, back in June said, I use this free utility to preview files on Windows faster. So let's go ahead and F9. I use the free QuickLook tool to preview files on Windows because it's far superior than using File Explorer. Now, File Explorer, if you open up File Explorer and I go to downloads, and let's see, there's a picture, I don't know what it is of. Yeah, there we go. You can see that I see a preview over here. But I don't see a preview of everything. Now here's, let's see, here's a PDF. It only shows me one screen of it. Here's another picture. Let's see if I can find something here, CSV file. It gives me the information. So you can see some previews, but apparently this does much better. And QuickLook allows me to preview files and Windows files in a better way. And it's going to look something like this, QuickLook, and you can actually bring it up, I guess, quite quickly. Many times to view or preview a file's content, you must open it in its respective app on the window. There is a preview panel, which helps, but it isn't terrific, and the free app does it much better. This isn't just for photos. You can use it with many file types. So this article explains how to use it and different screens. So if it's something you would like to have, go ahead and download it and follow the directions in the article. Okay. Microsoft is just turning Notepad into WordPad. And let's F9. Now, I use Notepad. I use it extensively. The thing I like about it, it's fast, it's simple, and there is no formatting that you have been able to do with it. WordPad was more like Word, but very basic. With you could have bold and all of that sort of thing, and it worked. But they what's the word they use anyway? They no longer are giving you WordPad. You only get Notepad, but they're adding some things to Notepad. And this article is about the fact that simplicity made Notepad great. Take notes quickly, write code. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but it's getting out of hand. Text formatting and useless AI is now in Notepad. And you can read this article, and it does add those. And I use, as I say, I use Notepad all the time. I've got it over here. What do I have this on? No, I don't want to do that. Oh, nuts. Okay, here's Notepad. So if I take some text, let's just take some text here. Control C, and then find Notepad again and paste it. It doesn't have any anything there, but now you'll notice I can make something bold in it. This is all new in Notepad, and it tells me there's some things to do. And next, so it gives me some help because I don't normally use it, and so it made it bold now. Well, it didn't used to do that. The only thing you could really do with it was change the font, and when you change the font, it changed it for the whole. Cancel. It changed it for the whole document. So I don't know that you can change this. Let's see if we can do that. H1, and we do title. No, it still does it. Now, if you change the font, it changes it for the whole document. No, I don't want that. I want to go back to just the body. Okay, but you can change the font. There's a few other things you can do now, but you can find things, you can copy and paste, and in the view, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can save as, and so on. I use it all the time when I take something that's let's say here, and it's 3 different fonts. Control C, I copy it, and then go back to it. And let's come down here. It takes all the formatting out, and that's how I normally use it. So I don't have to have the formatting. It doesn't put any extra code in or anything. Then I can paste it into something without the formatting done. I heard somebody start to say something, so let's see. Any comments? How many here use Notepad?
Actually, you're using markup when you're using those new features. It's no longer text, it's markup,
Yeah.
which is what you use on different forums.
And so I don't. I use Notepad because I don't want anything. I
Right.
want
You
want it
could
to be
also
blank.
now use it to add a link, which you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
But then you're using markup. You're not using plain text.
Good point.
Yeah, I'm like you, Mike. I use Notepad all the time for all kinds of things.
Yeah, a lot of times just for quickly putting things together. In other words, when I'm compiling the list that I have there, I go through my notes, usually using my Evernote. And let me show you what I do here is, let's see, let's bring up Evernote. Let me share my screen first so I don't lose that. Share and share. Okay, so here's my Evernotes. Hopefully I don't have anything here that's I don't want public. There isn't, but this is how I keep my articles. You'll notice that I have to tell me here. Yeah, I have 26,000 notes in my Evernotes. And let's say I want to find some articles. So what I do is I bring up my Notepad. We'll just clear this out. And we'll just put this over here. I'm still not going to be able to do it. It's going to disappear when I do this. But what, no, it does. Okay. So I take the title, Control C. I put it over here, Control V. Put one space there and put a semicolon. So what I do is end up building a list that has a semicolon between the name of the article, and I try to copy the URL. That doesn't work. And I can visit the source, but if I go into the edit, it will show me what that link is. So I'll take the whole link, copy it, Control C, and then put it right after that, Control V. And then I hit enter and I'm ready for the next one. So I build a list like this, and then I save it as a text file, and I open it up with Excel, tell it I wanted to see delimited with a semicolon, and all of these are in 2 columns in Excel. So that's how I do this every month.
Yeah, one thing about it, it's got a powerful search feature as well. So you can, you know, if I don't want to mess with a database, I just put it in a text file, and you can search up or search down. And it doesn't matter if it's capitalized, you know, it just looks at the basic text, and it's just quick and easy. That's what I like.
Yeah. Okay, and I can close this up. So anyway, that's how I use Notepad a lot. I'm copying things, putting it in there, creating a file with no formatting, and then do whatever I need to do with it. Let's see. So preview files. Okay, so this is the next one here. The secret window app that lets you open anything without risk.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and F9. And the secret window app lets you open anything without risk. I had been wanting to try this, and when I saw the article, I went ahead, and it's called Meet Windows Sandbox. And tomorrow on Tech for Senior, I am going to do a feature on how to install and run Sandbox. I'm going to give you a quick preview of what it is here in just a moment. But go ahead, read this article, and it tells you what the Sandbox is and so on. And then the next article is here is, let's see, Stay Safe Online with Windows is a video. It's the video that I'm going to use tomorrow. So if you like to do what I do, is even if I have access to the files on Tech for Senior, I like to wait to Tech for Senior. But if you can't make it tomorrow, or you want to take a look at this article, it's right here. So let's take a look at what it does. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and close this.
Huey,
Yes.
you might point out that it requires Windows 11 or 10 Pro.
Yes, you need the Pro version or the Enterprise version. And I do mention that in my video. But let's see what it is. Okay, I come here, and because I've already installed it, I can click it here, or I could just type in Sandbox down here. And sometimes it doesn't work. And so what I end up having to do, now watch what I have to do. I'm going to get an error, and I have to do it 2 or 3 times. So it's not perfect. There are some other ways to do this, but I have to do it 2 or 3 times, and then it should come up, and then let me close it. And then when I open it again, it will work. No, so let me go ahead and go to Task Manager. This is how you hit name. Okay, now the error came up. So I'm going to close that. I don't need to do this now. Now, if I do it, it should open it up. Don't do this to me. All right, so we got to do it this way anyway, till we make it work. Here. And
Remember, you're in Zoom. Things don't work quite the same in Zoom as when you're
no, I've had this problem without it as well. Let's see, so it's going to be under Windows. Sandbox right here. I'm going to right mouse click, tell it to end the task. Okay, and let's hope it, I'm going to leave that minimized to see if it'll work this time. Usually it works a second try.
Here you go.
Nope.
Nope.
And it may have to do with Zoom. I've not tried it in Zoom before.
I know that from what I've read, it actually launches a virtual machine with a complete copy of Windows. So
yes, and I want to show you that it does that here in a moment. I'm hoping I can show you. If not, you'll see it in the video. Windows Sandbox. It's got Windows Sandbox 2. And okay, so there it is. I think I closed it. Let's try it now.
Nope.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what it did, it actually opened Windows with very little on it except Edge. And if I open up the start menu, this is all that's in it. And you look at all, and this is everything that's there. So you've got a very clean version of Windows, and it's isolated from your main Windows. And then you can open up Edge. And you're online and you can do what you want. You can test the program, download it, install it. And I'm going to do that in the video, and I'll show you how I do it and so on. So it's isolating, it's making it a separate computer completely. And if you run something and it's got a virus, it won't affect or infect your regular computer. And it's called Sandbox. And it says, are you sure you want to close the Windows Sandbox? Once Windows Sandbox is closed, all of its contents will be discarded and permanently lost. So it's gone. And bingo, it's gone. Comments or questions about that? As I say, I'll have a video on it tomorrow, and you can see it on my channel as well. Mike, comment.
I just put a link to Sandboxy
Yes.
chat. And Sandboxy has been around for many, many, many years. I think I ran it back under Windows Vista the first time, and it's going back so long, but they've kept it up to date. And it works pretty much the same way, but they also let you run applications in a sandbox. So you can pick, say you want to pick a browser session and you want to open your Edge in a sandbox. So you just tell Sandboxy that your sandbox browser is Edge, and you right click on it and say run in sandbox. And now you're in a complete session browsing safely, because nothing that you might click on that contains malware will get installed on your computer.
Yeah, and Sandboxy, I used it many years ago as well. And it's Sandbox IE. And the IE stands for Internet Explorer. That's how old it is.
Old it is.
Yeah. I just purchased a week ago the license for Sandboxy Plus. Sandboxy Plus is what is required. They give away the free version, and it does sandboxing, but not 100% sandboxing, not like Windows does it with that sandbox. You can't, unless you pay them a fee, they don't let you do 100% isolation the way that you can with the free version. So just, sandboxy is a nice toy. But to do real secure sandboxing, you need to pay them the money.
Or,
Do you
or
remember how
install
much
a-
that is?
$40 per year.
Oh, wow. Or put a free virtual machine on your computer and then just run a version. of
Exactly.
Windows.
Which is what you're doing with Sandbox.
Right.
Right. I would run VirtualBox or VMware rather than use either one of them.
Yeah, now the Sandbox that's built into Windows, again, you got to have the Pro version. But in order, when you run it, there are some ways in which you can set it up. So when you start it up, there's going to be certain programs that will load automatically, I believe. What I was reading, it sounded like you can do that. But it gets fairly complicated, to say the least. But it can be done. You can create a folder with the things you want. Now, the way I've got it set up, and you'll see it in the video, is you can copy and paste. So I can copy and paste I can take the install file from a program, copy it from my regular desktop, put it on the desktop of Sandbox, and tell it to paste it. And when it does, I can then click it, and it will install that program on in Sandbox. So you can install anything you want in it and have several things running. You do have some limitations as far as you're running some complicated videos or games or something like that. You may have some problems because it uses a certain part of memory, and that part is quite limited. You're only using a certain amount of the RAM as well. But it gives you, it's a sandbox. It's a place where you can play with these things and not have to worry about. Now, I do a lot of testing of programs. Well, I can do it now in my Sandbox without having to install it on my system, because I noticed when I had to reinstall everything on my computer, I had a lot of things I didn't even know what they were installed that I had installed and just didn't play with. Bob, have you played with Sandbox at all, or have you used Sandboxy in the past?
No, I have not.
Okay.
One thing also to realize is if you are running a system that's very marginal, you may only have 8 gigs of RAM. You have the Pro version, so you can install Sandbox, but you are compromised to start off with, and now you want to run your regular system, and on top of that, another system. You're not going to have a whole lot of fun doing so, if it runs at all. So
they say it will run, I believe, on 4 gigabytes of RAM, but 8 is better, or a minimum.
yeah, but you're really pushing things.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. You don't want to run an awful lot in it and expect any speed. Okay. Continuing on here. Let's go ahead and share. And bring this back up. And I'm presuming you see me or see it. Stay safe. Okay. And there's the video is there. If you want to watch that video, please don't do it now. Stay with us. This is one I have not delved into, but I did put it in because I thought a lot of you use Word. So if you use Microsoft Word, there's some tweaks that you can do to it. One of the most powerful Microsoft Word tweaks, customize the ribbon. If the ribbon is packed with valuable features, but you can customize it. You can right-click any empty space in the ribbon and select Customize the Ribbon. Alternatively, go to Files and Options and select Customize Ribbon. And then to add a tool to the ribbon, select it in the left column and click the Add button. So you'll see a whole bunch of things that may or may not be on the ribbon. And you can say, okay, draw a table. You can then click Add and then put where you want it to be on the table or on the bar. And then to remove a tool from the ribbon, select it in the right column and click remove. So here's touch. If you don't want it there, just click remove. It doesn't remove it from Word. It only removes it from the ribbon. And click new tab button and add a new menu to Word where you can place your most used command if you wish. So you can create a new tab and then put some things that you use a lot. And then if you use Word on Mac, it tells you how to do the same things doing that. Okay, and another thing that you can do with Word is customize the quick access toolbar. That's the toolbar at the very top. And to go to files and options, and then quick access toolbar, which is right here. And then you can add it. Let's say the editor, you want to add it to the quick toolbar. And then to remove from the toolbar, you can do that from here. So what are we talking about? We're talking about at the top where these are your quick access toolbar. And so in let's see, does it show here? It doesn't show it. But if I open up Word, and do a new document, the quick access toolbar is right here. No, it isn't. It's this right up here. So it's where you can click on something and get to it very quickly. Okay, and close that. This is a good article, and I think I may have put this in as an article in the Tech for Senior newsletter. I don't remember, but it talks about having an HDD or a hard disk drive as opposed to an SSD. And there's a superior data retention. This makes HDDs or hard disk drive, and that's these, more ideal for long-term storage. And so if you're thinking about it, let's see, I didn't hit F9, did I? There's what a hard disk, HDD or a hard disk drive looks like. And here's and this is an SD card right here, SSD card, I should say, inside your computer. So this makes it more ideal for long-term storage. And unlike HDDs that store data on spinning disks, SSDs use NAND flash memory, which stores data as an electrical charge in individual cells. These electric charges can gradually leak over time, making SSDs more vulnerable to data corruption or loss, especially when left unpowered for extended periods. So just getting an extra stick, putting it in, copying everything to it, taking it out, putting the original back in, might not be what you want to do. Most modern SSDs use TLC or QLC NAND, NAND flash memory, which is typically retains data for around 3 years. That's nowhere near as reliable as the older SLC and MLC SSDs, which have largely disappeared. On the other hand, if you use a hard disk drive to retain data for 5 to 10 years without degradation, especially if you have it set up in a cool, dry, dust-free environment. So those of you who are looking for ways to save data over a long period of time, buying a small SSD drive or card or stick might not be the way to go. An old hard drive and some kind of a connector to back it up to might be the way to go. Hard drives can handle heavy sequential writes without wear concerns. There's a reason why HD hard drives are still preferred choice in home and office surveillance setups. Even though SSDs can read and write data incredibly fast, their NAND cells inevitably wear out over time. Now, what does NAND? Let's go ahead and open up Copilot. What's NAND? Flash memory. NAND flash is a type of non-volatile memory, meaning it retains data even when the power is off. It's widely used in USB drives, SSDs, memory cards, and smartphones. Named after the NAND gate because of how its internal circuitry is structured. So this is how I use Copilot. To get answers, if I'm not sure of something, I go out and get Copilot. So we just learned what that was. Okay, sure, modern SSDs have decent write endurance for normal use, but their lifespan shortens significantly under continuous write-heavy workloads. For instance, a 2 terabyte TLC, which is a brand SSD, like the Samsung 990 EVO, rated for 1,200 terabytes written, could hit the limit in just over 3 years if it writes 1 terabyte daily.
Huey, can I just add something?
Sure.
That TLC, it's not a brand. It means
Okay.
it means it stands for 3-layer or 3-level cells. What that means
Thank
is
you.
it writes 3 bits to a cell instead of 1 or 2.
Okay, thank you. HDDs, on the other hand, don't have a write cycle limited like SSDs do. Yes, they are moving mechanical parts that can wear out over time, but they don't degrade from writing alone. That makes them better suited for sustained workloads like recording video feeds 24/7. And if you've ever been concerned about longevity, you can always opt for surveillance grade HDD like the Western Digital Purple or Seagate Skyhawk with dedicated sensors to tolerate external vibrations. So, and then number 2 in this list, HDDs are still king for data hoarders. You can get more terabytes without breaking the bank. In other words, SSDs or HDDs, hard disk drives, are cheaper for the same size of an SSD card. And then data recovery is easier. Even if your HDD or your hard drive fails, you can recover your data in most cases. If you've ever had an SSD fail abruptly, you'll appreciate how straightforward it is, usually to recover data from a good old mechanical hard drive. If the SSD fails, you're done. There's nothing you're going to do about getting the data back for the most part. Since hard drives store data magnetically, professional data recovery labs could and should be able to retrieve the files if the drive's PCB is damaged. They typically have the spare parts needed to access the data directly from the platters. So even if a hard drive fails from a power surge or mechanical wear, it doesn't necessarily mean all hope is lost.
You just need a few $1,000 to.
Yeah, it depends on how much data there is and so on. But yeah, but the thing is, if you've got data that you can't lose, if you do your for whatever reason, it really
Back up your stuff.
Exactly.
Back it up to several places. But what you back it up to has got to be able to be accessed as well. Mike, you have your hand up.
Okay, so a couple of comments. Number one, I'll do it in reverse of the way I was going to do it. Steve Gibson, been around the community for thousands of years. And his first big product, and still remains his major product, is called SpinWrite. Many of us have used SpinWrite to recover data from hard drives that have failed. And SpinWrite now, in its latest iteration, will actually refresh data on SSDs. And he's got an article on his website, grc.com, that actually justifies doing this as a routine matter of maintenance, maybe once a year. And it just goes through, you start it running Sunday night, go to bed, come back, it's done in the morning. And it just goes through your SSDs, if it's your primary drive on your computer, and refreshes every cell. And it actually extends the longevity of those cells. So you are right in saying, yes, if the electronics on the SSD fail, then not much you're going to do about it. I've had that happen at least once in the past. But for an SSD that is solid, and if you've decided to use an SSD as your primary drive on the computer, I think it's worth paying for Gibson's SpinRite and just running that maintenance once a year. And then if for some reason you're getting some bad writes, or it says I can't access that particular file, which would be a warning, also using it in the repair mode. And that then gets me to running SpinRite on those hard drives that aren't supposed to fail, but they do. And it will repair and refresh the data by locking out the bad sectors and then writing to the spare sectors on the hard drive. So well worth the investment. And I guess finally, as Bob G said, backup, and backups can be offsite in the cloud, in which case you're using banks of servers to back your information up, which I do. So if you have a triad of local on the computer, then local on a hard drive or your own array, or offsite, whether that's physically on a separate hard drive that you take to your son's house or your daughter's house or put in the bank safety deposit box, or again, I use pCloud as my cloud storage. Everything I've got data-wise is backed up to pCloud literally daily. So if something does fail, at least I've got several different ways to go get it back.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I do. I use iDrive. I can't remember what I pay per year, but it's not expensive. And I think I get 5 terabytes of storage or 2 ter. It was 2, and I think it's 4 now, or 5. But every night I have it at 11:30 at night. I tell it to back up, and what it goes out, sees what's already backed up, and any changes or anything new, it adds it. Sometimes it's 2 files, sometimes it's 10 files or 20 files, and it backs up the data every night. And then every once in a while, I will take an SSD drive that I have, and I'll duplicate that on the drive. So I've got a local copy as well of the backup, and that's all my data. It's not the programs, but in most cases, if you get a new computer or you get a new or you have to put a new drive in and start from scratch, you really want to download and install the latest version of the programs you use, rather than install an old version and then try to update it. So that's what I usually do. And then I just save the data and access the data.
Christopher Nance posted in chat at the beginning of it that Kim Commando, who runs a newsletter and a blog and a radio show, has a special for total drive cloud storage. I've not heard of them. $18 for the first year, $99 per year thereafter, and you get 10 terabytes of storage for that price.
Wow.
So that's not a bad price for the amount of storage, if you've got a lot of stuff to back up.
Or you got a lot of computers, because most of these,
right?
You can back up more than one computer. Now let's, I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to, no, let's see, let's go ahead and stay
By
with
the way,
that.
if I drop off, I'll be back. We've got some lightning storms in the area.
Okay, so I'm going to come here, and then we're going to go to iDrive. Now, one thing, Kim Commando does get some money when she advertises or mentions things like that. A lot of times, if you got to put her name in it, she'll get some kind of a spiff, which is nothing wrong with that. but you'll get a small amount. But I don't have that with anything here. But this is the iDrive, and I go to their website, and let's see, you got a 7-day free trial. It's available at 20. Let's see, that's for 10 terabytes. But for drive for one person, I want to see what it costs. Contact sales, drive backup. That's per seat, per workspace user. Lifetime 25% off for education. Sometimes you can get those educational ones, just say you're a student. Some of them require you to have an EDU address.
Yeah, you're looking at the Google Workspace rather than regular C drive.
No, I'm talking about backing up my C drive.
But it says Google Workspace backup.
Oh, okay, yeah. So let's go ahead to cloud applications backup Microsoft.
And my son did that recently, and the day before he got it set up, his hard drive crashed.
Go back to click on pricing now.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it went away here.
Go up to pricing.
Yep.
There.
Right
There you go.
It's $2.95 per year for 100 gigabytes. But let's see, the first year on 5 terabytes of storage, it's $70, and then per year after that, 149, so 150, so it's $75 a year. And but if you have a lot of data, it's going to take a long time, and especially if you don't have a real fast connection, it's going to take a long time to get it to their server to upload all of your backup, your drive, all of your data. And so if you opt for it, you can ask them, and they will send you a hard drive. You then, it's a USB hard drive, so you plug it into your computer, you run their software and back it up locally to that, ship it back to them, and then they put it on the cloud. And it doesn't cost extra for that. And that's how I did it the first time. And before I had 1 gigabit internet. So I use that, and I pay the $75 a year for it. But I got 5 terabytes of backup. So I back up 2 or 3 different computers. It just says what's the name of the computer, and it backs them up separately in separate files. So let's see here, here. Somebody's Drew, did you have something to say, or somebody?
No, I just coughed.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as you're coughing and not cough in. Okay, let's go back to share. Bad joke, Hewie. So where are we here? 4 times hard drive, still better. Okay, how to use Copilot Vision. And I did a video on that. How to use Copilot Vision, Professionals, Educators Guide 2025. And let's see, did I put the video in the menu as well? Yes, right here, right under that one is unlocking the power of Copilot Vision. And I have a little over 10-minute video on talking about the Copilot Vision. So you might want to take a look at that. And then Microsoft Copilot turns Notepad into your personal writing assistant. Now I haven't used it for that, but I did show you how I used it. And there's so many different ways that Copilot, I'm using Copilot, but I also use ChatGPT. ChatGPT right now is the only one I'm paying for. So I use the free version of Copilot. Well, actually, I get Copilot because I'm a Windows 365 owner. So, but Perplexity, some people are using Perplexity and paying for it. Some use the Gemini from Google, and they're paying for that one. I suggest you only pay for one of them, so you can mix and match. So you can go 1 month with Gemini and go another month with ChatGPT until you decide which one you want to use the most. But they keep upgrading and updating, and so one's a little bit better than the other from 1 month to the next, or 1 week, actually sometimes 1 day to the next. So Notepad's enhanced with AI. It's used AI powered assistant into Notepad. And let's see, quick shortcuts. I have not used it, but you can, let's see, if we open up Notepad, where'd it go? It's over here. No, I want to do here. And that's not letting me drag it here. There we go. Okay, so I got here Notepad, and let's see, do I have some text here I can drop into it? I think I pasted this earlier. All right, well, that's good. And so then if I want to, you can write something, you can rewrite, summarize. So if you got a long thing in Notepad, you can summarize it, make it shorter, you can make it longer. Enhance your writing with Copilot, start, okay. Rewriting text with Copilot. Microsoft, so here's what I got. So I'm going to replace it, and bingo. So even in Notepad, you can do it without having to go out separately. Let's see what else we can do. Rewrite it or write. And what would you like to write? For instance, a blog post idea about productivity. Okay, let's do that. I guess I can't just copy it. Okay, so we'll just say, where is it here? Right here. Copilot. We'll just say Copilot. I could tell it to keep generating. No, okay. So no, discard, I don't want to discard. How do I keep it? Okay, so that's it. Well, I'm not sure how I get out of that to use it. Keep text, there we go. All right. So I've got some more information about it there. So you can use it within Notepad very easily, built right in. And Copilot and Notepad 2025, interactive editing for enhanced precision, streamline productivity with quick shortcuts. So there's some shortcuts you can use as well, and seamless integration with the M365 ecosystem, and Notepad Transform for the modern user. So that's that article. Start saving hours per day using this browser tab management feature. And this is something I have not used. F9. So in Google, I'm not sure if you can use it. It's in Chrome, but it may be in other Chromium-based browsers. Juggling work, personal projects, and entertainment can clutter your browser window, requiring you to shift through the tab strip to find and switch tabs, which can ultimately disrupt your workflow. Tab groups help keep things tidy and save you valuable hours every day. Tab groups are a tab management feature in Chrome that allows you to group multiple open tabs within a window under a single tab with a custom name and color. This makes it easy for you to identify related tabs and focus solely on the current tasks without being distracted by unrelated tabs. So it's a way of, if you normally have a lot of tabs that you open up, you might want to group them and make it easier for you to move around and find the tabs that you want to use. So this is a good article for that. So in summary, tab groups can significantly improve your tab organization by reducing clutter, simplifying tab identification, improving focus, streamlining multitasking, and saving tabs for later. And then it shows, this article shows how to use the tab groups to manage your tabs. So this is a really good article. I'm going to have to spend some time and learn how to do this, because this is something that really will help me. Okay, I am going to stop the share for a moment. Actually, we got just a few minutes left. Any comments? How many use tabs? If you do, how do you use them? Does it save you time? Or do you just not use it because you didn't know you could? Or
Haven't played
comments?
with tab groups yet. I'll have to see if they're available for Brave.
Okay, and I'm in the process of putting together a video on different browsers. There's some new browsers out that are really it's going to take some learning, but they do quite a bit. Some brand new types of browsers, and one of them I have been playing with in Sandbox, so I didn't have to install it and run it on my computer, not knowing what it will do and what I have to work with. So, and what I did was some screen captures while I did that. Harry, your hand was up.
Yeah, I don't want to ask a personal question, but you're like the fourth person that has, in the last couple of months in presentations that I've heard, talked about having so many open tabs. Am I the only one that's just using bookmarks? I've got like 200 bookmarks, and that itself is crazy. But am I missing something by not using tabs instead of bookmarks?
I do both. I have tabs when I'm using. I'm going back and forth between several pages, but I have bookmarks. Let me show you. Let's share here. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I don't know they're in here or not. So let me open up Chrome and let me just show you. This is just one list of my bookmarks. And then I have another one. This is just bookmarks. Then I have another one here at the top called AI.
Could you just share a very quick sense of you're working on a project, and how does your brain decide this should be a tab, but that should be a bookmark?
Well, a tab is when you open it. That's another tab. So if you go to a page,
but if it's something you think you might want to go back to, you're
right.
saying, sometimes I won't save it as a bookmark, but I'll save it as an open tab. And I'm just trying to get a sense of when one is better than the other.
Well, I think they're different purposes, but let me see if I can find something here that won't be
Especially if your settings,
okay.
If the settings on your browser are restore previous session. So when you're finished for the day and you may have 20 tabs open and you want those same 20 tabs to be open tomorrow when you start your browser up, they're exactly where they were when you left off. So you can continue whatever projects you were on.
Yeah, I might be on Feedly, and then I want to go back to Google. Then I want to go back to my list, and I'm going back and forth. This is where I would use tabs. But I might be doing something, and I'm looking at many sites and looking at the information and so on, and so I've got a lot of things open. And what Mike just said is, let's say I hit close by mistake, and I closed it, and I didn't want to do that. I only wanted to close the the tabs or one tab and or the place where I was at. So I'll go ahead and let's see, which was that? That was this. So I go back there. Now if you do a Control Shift and T, brings them right back. So Control Shift and T.
So if you have
Again,
a dozen or 2 dozen that you're working on now, but you're not likely to keep them for a year, are you?
So,
no, not generally. But
bookmarks keep things around for you without necessarily having to have an open tab, but it's sort of like writing something down in a notebook for later reference.
Right.
You can come back to it in a year or in a day, and you don't have to keep it. If you don't want to keep it, you can throw it away.
And I've got like 5 tabs I use every single day. I moved them to the left side of my screen, and then on the tab menu, if you right click on a tab, it says pin, and it makes it just a small icon on the extreme left. So like my first tab that I've pinned is my email for Proton Mail. My second tab that I've pinned is my calendar. The third tab that I've pinned is the Weather Underground that I use. And the fourth tab is my Google Text application where I can see all my text from my phone. I'm always going to have those open. And I don't particularly want to have them in bookmarks and have to go get them each time I have a session. So by telling my browser or doing the Control Shift P or T rather, I have all my tabs there, and the pinned ones will always be there for me.
Okay.
when I start my browser and I'm using Chrome as my basic one, and so whenever I open up my browser, I have Facebook, Instagram, Claude, which is an AI, Perplexity, which is AI, Google Gemini, which is AI, free AI Power, which are a bunch of tools, something called Meco, and then Particle News. And then I got a plus here if I want to add anything. This opens every time I open up my Windows because I use these on a regular basis. So you don't have to do that, but you can set it up to open whatever windows you want every time or not windows, but tabs every time you open your browser. And you can do that in the settings. But if I close
a combination, the best is a combination of the two.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
For different purposes. So if I go ahead and I open this again, all of these are there because that's the way I have it set up. And you do that in settings. And if I can find where settings is, here down here. And then go to, this is in Google. But in Google, I go down to, let's see.
Preferences, I think.
No, on startup.
Oh, startup, yeah.
And you can open a new tab page, so it's blank, and it's just a new tab page, or you can continue where you left off the last time, or you can set it up and add a bunch here. So you can actually click, set up whatever you want, and then at the bottom, you can, let's see, I believe you can add a new page and you can use current pages. So whatever's open, you click current pages and that's what's there. And so the next, you close it, open it, and all of those items that you have there will be what opens every time you start. So every day, if you start your browser and it's at the Google screen, the Google search screen, and nothing else is there, and every day, as soon as you open your browser, you go to Facebook and your email, you want to go ahead and set it up. So when you open up your browser, they automatically open. You don't have to, it saves you a step every time. And if there's and so what I'm probably going to do is, let's see, I think, no, that moves them around. I can't remember how you do the tab. Add a new tab, move the tab, let's see. I'm not sure how I put in
No, that's
create.
okay. That's okay.
No, I'm trying to figure that out myself. So you know how to build a list of put things in a group. Anyone, without me going back to the page, anyone remember how it's supposed to be done?
What browser are you in right now?
I'm in Google Chrome.
Chrome. Right clicking on the tab should give you the option to create a group.
Yes, add tab to new group.
Yeah, I see that in Brave.
Okay, and then
also.
give it a name. Okay, so bots. And we'll make it blue. No, we'll make it red just to stand out. Okay. And then we'll right mouse click this and add tab to group. And we got one there, so we add it there. So now if we go to that bot, it opens it up. Otherwise, it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
So you can have several in that bot. So in that group. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop the share. I think, oh, we're even over. Steve Parker, you have your hand up before we close out.
Yeah, I've got an add-on for Firefox called New Tab Tools, and it does essentially what Mike Ungerman was talking about, except that I can put all the tabs as live tiles.
We're losing you, Steve.
Yes, I know. I had to turn my phone down.
Oh.
Yeah, I can set it up so that all the tabs that I normally check, like Mike does, are live tabs on the screen as a grid. So I can see what's going on all of them all at the same time.
Wow. Okay. If you put a link, that's an app.
It's an add-on to Firefox.
Okay. Go ahead and if you would put it in the chat box. And at this point, I am going to do this.
Oh.
And
Hewie, thank you for asking me that question about Thunderbird.
okay, hang on one second. Let me go ahead and share. And go ahead, tell me what you were going to say.
Oh, I said thank you for asking me that question because it's been bugging me and I haven't been doing anything about it. And
Did you find an answer?
During the meeting, I found an answer and I sent you an email with how to change yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Well, this has been the Sarasota Technology User Group and Central Florida Computer Society monthly WinSIG or Windows Special Interest Group. Today is July 13th, 2025. Thanks for joining. I hope you learned something. I know I do when I put this together and when I go through them. I don't know everything, and I'm willing to admit that. And I like sharing this information with you because at the same time, in a lot of instances, I'm learning along with you. So until next month, thanks for joining.